Hey guys, it's Unrealized Thoughts. I'm back again and I'm going to talk about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. This is a spoiler-free review. So I'm just going to get right into it. Negatives, positives, what I think about the movie, and my final score, my final verdict. So let's go. The positives. The movie starts very strong. Very, very strong. I really enjoyed how it started. Especially on how Man of Steel really established this world. I think that's underappreciated on what he truly did for this universe, and how what motivates Batman to basically beat him up, take him out. Now, almost all the performances in the movie were very strong. Ben Affleck is Batman. He proved me wrong. At first, I didn't really like him, but then as time went on, I started to really get behind him as Batman, and then this movie just sold it for me all the way. It was so good. His Batman was really good. I think that was like Batman ripped out of the comics, the closest thing we have. Then we have Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot was very good too. She was very strong in this movie. She had limited parts, but at the same time I feel like she did a good job. We have Superman. Obviously Henry Cavill, I believe he's a good actor. He did a pretty good job as Superman. And I really think I'm going to talk more about their characters exactly in depth in terms of other things. So we have some great parts in the movie. There are some great parts that were touching, other parts that were actually entertaining, and some parts that were plain old good. Plain old good. Especially, I have to say, the action. The action was very good. The way how they were fighting against Doomsday, we already know they fought Doomsday, guys. It's not really a spoiler. We saw that in the other trailer. But the way how they fought Doomsday, I personally enjoyed it myself. And of course, the visuals, stunning. It's Zack Snyder. What do you expect? Now let's get to the negatives. First, as much as I like the beginning of the movie, the transitions in this movie were not good at all. There was literally no transitions at all. The movie was very badly cut. It was just so choppy. It was jumpy and just jumped place to place. And some scenes didn't hold as much weight because it didn't get to simmer. You know what I'm trying to say? They didn't get to expand on certain parts. Like Man of Steel, but Man of Steel, I have to say, kind of did it better. And there were barely any good character motives. And what I mean is, Batman had a reason to fight Superman. In the movie, when you see it, Superman, just ask yourself this: what motive does Superman have? Because Batman's a criminal, but there are a lot of motives in this movie that I just didn't really get. Especially Jesse Eisenberg's plan as Lex Luthor. It was put together very badly, which I have to talk about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I said almost all the performances were strong. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, of course, his plot was lackluster, but also him as a character just wasn't good. He was the Riddler. He was too jokey, and that did not match the tone of this movie. I mean, some parts worked for me for Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Some parts definitely did. Other parts, not so much. Then we had the cameos. The cameos were interesting, but they were forced. They were forced. I can't tell you exactly what they took form, because I'm not sure if that's like a spoiler or something. But in some way, the way how the cameos were, there was like a rumor that came out about a year ago or so on how the cameos would actually take form. The rumors were somewhat right. But I'll explain more in my spoiler review of this movie. And then we have Lois Lane. Lois Lane was not as relevant, like at all. Like, her relevance was very little in this movie. They tried to make her relevant, then they not made her relevant, then she wasn't again, then she was. Here's the thing. Her character, from the trailers, promising from the trailers, because the trailers were good, except that one misstep, but the trailers were good. I really wanted the side characters to be a moral voice for both Superman and Batman. That's what the trailers seemed like they were promising. And let's get to the last part, which this kind of made me cringe a little bit. First of all, there's a lot of storylines that they kind of put in here. and it feels like 5 different movies put into one. But one thing that bothered me was that there were certain scenes in this movie that could have been saved for another movie. The nightmare sequence, that we definitely saw that nightmare sequence. That could have been an excellent Justice League movie. A star of a Justice League movie that was been so good. We have some things for a Superman solo movie, but some of the parts were very touching. And when they asked the question, does the world need a Superman? That was a perfect question for a Superman standalone movie. A Man of Steel sequel. Which, now thinking about it, I think they should have done that first. Then a Batman movie. Then a Wonder Woman movie. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice comes out. Then you have another, like, I don't know, sequel. Let's say Suicide Squad or something. Or a Wonder Woman sequel. Justice League. That's all they needed. But that's all I really had to say. Because there was a lot of things in this movie that I personally wanted to be really, really good. And yeah, like, the movie, it worked for some parts. It set up somewhat of the Justice League, but not in a good way. I'm tired of setup. I want to see a movie that stands on its own. I don't want to compare it to other movies right now because I really don't want to, but let's just say, for example, I know some of you are going to hate me for this, but Age of Ultron, I personally didn't really enjoy the movie that much. It's kind of enjoyable, but not that much, and it's clearly, I think it's better than this one. However, I did not like the setup for all these things. How they made Thor go into that time machine or hot tub or something like that and have a vision about the Infinity Stones. I didn't like that because now I really don't care about Ultron, and that's exactly what this movie made me do. There's just too many things that this movie did wrong, and I wanted it to do good. There's so many things working against this movie. Zack Snyder, for example, the director himself, the writing for this movie, especially, you know, Goyer. Then you have Man of Steel having mixed reviews. You had the casting for 3 people: Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Jesse Eisenberg. The movie was pushed back twice. There's so many things that were working against this movie, and we all wanted it to work. No one, I don't think anyone in his mom told you that they didn't want this movie to work. They wanted this movie to be good. And now I'm not sure. I don't think Zack Snyder's the right guy. Look, if whoever's watching from Warner Bros. Or something, if anybody who's in charge of this, if you guys can't give us the characters, or should I say the characters that we deserve, the character development, the stories that we deserve, and the way how they should properly be developed and adapted, then you should just walk away. Because we're fans of this beyond belief, and we want these movies to be good. We don't want any superhero movie to be bad. And now thinking about it, I don't want Batman v Superman to be a disaster. And right now, from the critic response, and from what some people are telling me, and then after watching the movie, I don't blame them for not liking it. So my final verdict. I told you all the things that are positive, and I told you all the things that are negative. So I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I did. And I will say that Batman v Superman, I will give it a 5 out of 10. And by the way, I wanted it to be at least a 7, an 8. I wanted it to be a 10. Perfect. But it wasn't. Some of the character motivation weren't there. The movie was choppy. Wonder Woman was a strong part. We all clapped when we saw her, when she donned the costume. But what was the point? She literally was just there. Every character and all these cameos and the way how they played it out, and certain things just happened too early. And I will talk more in depth on this with my spoiler review. So basically that's it, guys. Man, I will speak to you guys later on this. I will talk to you more about this and what's going to happen next. How they're going to do this. Justice League is around the corner. Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad is our only hope. So tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Peace, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Like me on Facebook. Stay thoughtful.